Tonight we heard the President praise America's recent economic gains, but let's give credit where credit's due. Our nation's energy industry deserves the credit for the growth that we see today. We're experiencing an energy revolution, a shale revolution, in spite of the President's policies that are intended to stifle the development of our domestic resources. The President's war on fossil fuels and nuclear energy is most evident in his unbridled mandates being issued by the EPA. While he markets these regulations as a means to save us from global warming, a recent NERA study predicts, now listen to this, the President's climate agenda would only reduce CO2 concentration by less than 0.5%. It would only reduce the average global temperature by less than 2/100ths of a degree, and it would only reduce the rise of sea level by 1/100th of an inch. That's the thickness of 3 sheets of paper. In the meantime, the President's agenda will cost our economy $479 billion. You know, in Oklahoma, if you divide the number of families that pay a federal tax, that comes to over $4,000 a family, and you get nothing for it. We will be experiencing a double-digit electricity price increase, and tens of thousands of Americans will lose access to well-paying jobs over the course of the next decade. Now, why all this pain for no gain at all? As the Wall Street Journal put it the other day, when reporting on just one of the President's many climate regulations, this is a wealth redistribution scheme being imposed by the President through the EPA. That's what the Wall Street Journal said. This is the real climate agenda the President chose not to address tonight. It's no wonder, because it would impose the largest tax increase in the history of America. Now tonight, the President once again failed to address our national security crisis. Under the President Obama's leadership, roughly $1 trillion has been taken out. This is just in the last 6 years. $1 trillion has been taken out of our military and transferred to his extreme global warming agenda. This has resulted in our military being downsized to levels not seen since before World War II. This is part of his disarming of America. And as part of this agenda, President Obama blatantly breaks our laws to achieve his goals. For example, one of his legacy items is to close Guantanamo Bay. You know that. You've heard it now for longer than he's been in office. And he wants to close Guantanamo Bay and release the terrorists. Now, when he released the Taliban 5, remember that? The most heinous of all the terrorists that were being detained there at Guantanamo, he was in violation of the law, a law that he just had signed a few months before that. The law requires the President to give 30 days notice to Congress before releasing Gitmo detainees. He totally ignored it. He broke the law. Now these men are likely aiding other terrorists today with plans to kill Americans. The President has released terrorists and decimated our military, and we have to work to reverse the President's reputation where our enemies don't fear us and our allies no longer trust us. Now, in closing, this President has added more to our national debt than Presidents George Washington to President George Bush combined. All the presidents of the United States combined, he's contributed more debt than all of them combined. And so that he can advance his goal of wealth redistribution. We can see this in his newly proposed tax package. He wants to undo bipartisan tax relief and says the rich must carry a heavier burden. The truth about his tax package is that it'll crush our farmers and our ranchers' ability to stay in business. It's just one more of the President's socialist agenda. Let's remember tonight the wise words of Margaret Thatcher. She said, quote, "The problem with socialism is that eventually you run out of other people's money to spend," unquote. If we've learned anything over the past 6 years of the economic hardship that we've had, Americans are resilient. By reining in President Obama's overregulation and by rebuilding a strong national security, we can survive the Obama administration. Just 2 more years, we can survive the Obama administration.